Welcome to Inside Real Estate with real estate expert Terry Paranych here on Terry Paranych TV. And, you know, there's always been the rivalry between Edmonton and Calgary, so all you Edmontonians that are out there, don't go away. But there are a lot of things that we can learn from both markets. And today we're going to be talking about the Southern Alberta real estate market with a charming young lady and a very talented and skilled person. Why did you want to bring her on the show?
Well, Michael, I think some of the best feedback that we've had on Paranych TV has been when we've brought on special guests,
like Chris Anderson,
in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area.
Yeah.
And, you know, people are always asking me about the Southern Alberta real estate market, you know, Calgary specifically. And I thought for all of our, you know, worldwide viewers and specifically a lot of our Alberta viewers, you know, there's been a lot of talk about where the Alberta economy is going to be going in the next couple of years. Yeah. And, again, that key question is, well, what's happening in the Edmonton market in the next 6 months, 12 months, in the next 2 years, and often a lot of that is a derivative of what starts to happen in I guess our epicenter of Alberta, and that's Calgary, the business market.
Did you say that? Oh my goodness!
I did. And I have a great colleague of mine, and she's a top producer, a real estate expert in Calgary. Her name is Claudia Walz, and she's specialized in residential, commercial. She's done a lot of condo conversions and condo projects, and she's a really, really innovative gal that knows the Calgary real estate market amazingly well. And I thought she would be a great guest to bring on the show. And what we're going to do today is we're going to ask Claudia about what's happening in the Calgary real estate market right now, what's going to happen in the future, you know, perhaps also areas like, you know, the Airdries and the Cochranes, areas around Calgary.
Right.
And she's going to answer our questions, because that's also going to answer some great questions as to what's going to happen in the Edmonton, or the Red Deer, and the Edmonton and the Fort McMurray market. So let's introduce Claudia and bring her on.
Well, Claudia Walz is a RE/MAX realtor and Calgary real estate expert and has known Terry for some time. And so, Claudia, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Terry and Mike. Good to be here.
Well, how are things in Calgary?
Things are fabulous here. Probably better than Edmonton. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in a way we could start by saying what I'd be interested to know is the differences between the Edmonton and Calgary market. Maybe you can share a little bit of that just to sort of make that connection, and then we can probe deeper into Calgary. So what would you say are some of the key differences about Edmonton versus Calgary, or Calgary versus Edmonton?
Well, I don't know the Edmonton market like Terry would, so to compare it directly with where we're at currently, I'm not too sure where Edmonton's at, but Calgary is really driven by oil, obviously, so you know, the market's been doing really well with that.
So, do you see? Have you when they announced the $1.2 billion pipeline project? Did you hear some buzz in Calgary around, oh, this is going to have a huge impact on the market? Was there any reaction or response that you sensed from the Calgary market?
Of course, people in Calgary love to spend, so as soon as there's anything that's positive out there, it kind of gives them a reason to justify their opening their wallet. And I think that's a real reason we've seen higher priced homes this year selling very well. Is with, you know, media like that coming out that really stimulates the market. So for sure.
So Claudia, the real estate market in Calgary, and I've always I've been at this almost 25 years, and I've seen, you know, whenever Calgary starts to really get busy, a lot of people in Edmonton start to speculate, well, here comes the gold rush in Edmonton right away. It's going to get busier here. So from what I understand, Calgary has started to really, the market started to really hum over the course of the last 3 or 4 months. Have you seen that? Have you seen that kind of, love is in the air in the real estate market again, where people are excited, they're jumping back in? Because I know statistically, the market in Calgary has taken quite a jump in the last couple of months versus last year.
Absolutely, and I think the thing that's really helping things is prices have stayed very much the same. We haven't seen there's been about a 1% increase in single family and a 1% decrease in condo. Our inventory has come down a bit from the same time last year. And so there's still a good selection out there. But because of the affordability, And then the positive news we have coming in with oil and gas, and there's a lot of migration coming in. A big thing that I have really felt was a stimulus to our market was the oil and gas sector that saw a lot of jobs kind of being taken away in 2009. Statistically, all those jobs have been filled back. That's huge.
Wow.
Huge for our market.
So I know I had to drive through Calgary a while ago. I was heading to a conference in Banff, and again, you kind of get to that Balzac area, Claudia, and then you see that huge Mills Iron or Cross Iron Mills, the big shopping center, and then of course you get to Airdrie. And I remember when I was a little kid going to Calgary, Mike and Claudia, you'd get to Airdrie and you'd get a little bit excited. You'd be in Mom and Dad's old station wagon in the back with no seatbelt on, and totally. You're almost at Uncle Albert and Auntie Gladys's house coming up. My late uncle was a big Stampeder fan. I always remember him, and I used to just go at it, Stampeders, Eskimos. And he was my godfather, great guy. But anyway. So now, Claudia, you get to Airdrie and you kind of go through the, let's say the main part of Airdrie, and it just keeps going and going. Now, are we finding that also, Claudia? You indicated a lot of the oil and gas jobs that, let's say, in the last 3 or 4 years had been kind of a little bit sedentary, things were a little bit quiet. You're saying all of that, and we're seeing it here too, all of that action is back, so all of those jobs are back. But you mentioned two things, a lot of migration to Calgary. Where are people coming from?
Oh gosh, all over the place. I've had so many international clients over the past year. Even when jobs were being cut, I still had oil and gas engineering clients coming from the UK. I think that a lot from Toronto, Vancouver area. But surprising for my business was the international clients that I'm seeing come over, and they're obviously ready to buy, and I don't know statistically where the most are coming from, but that's been my experience with my business.
Because I heard now that in Calgary, when a lot of the people from Saskatchewan went back to Saskatchewan, you guys have now put up a big wall there, so no Saskatchewan people can come back. Only when the Rough Riders come to town.
Oh, we're going to get so much mail. We're going to.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, well, that's very interesting, Claudia. Now, what about areas like? I mentioned Airdrie and Cochrane and some of the areas like in and around Calgary that you can talk about. What's happening in those areas?
They're doing awesome. Airdrie, I've actually happened to just sell a lot of real estate in Airdrie, and the pricing there is very affordable. It's obviously very close to Calgary, and it's not like when we were younger and it kind of was, a separate little town on its own. With Cross Iron Mills being put in, there's been a lot of new developments out there. I find that it's obviously a different clientele that wants to live out there, but they can afford a certain kind of home and a certain kind of lifestyle in Airdrie that wouldn't be as affordable in Calgary. So as long, pricing, it's a little bit different in Airdrie. Cochrane, phenomenal, same thing. You get, higher pricing there because you're towards the mountains, but there's nothing that's sitting there. It's not like we're a market like the States, and I think a lot of people out there want to know that. Are we seeing, these big scary stories where stuff sits for 2 or 3 years and it's not selling? No, not at all. If a property's sitting, it's not listed with the right realtor. It's not marketed properly. It's not priced properly. I mean, I could go on a bit of a rant with that, but, those... getting back to your original question about those areas, they're just for whoever wants to live on the outskirts of the city versus, right in the city, and they don't mind the commute. That's kind of. Now,
I have one last question for you, Claudia, and I know Mike has a couple more. I know you've been involved in the condominium marketing and project marketing in downtown Calgary. How's the Calgary condominium market as far as some of those big buildings around the Bow River, just some of the multi-unit product in downtown Calgary? What's happening there, Claudia? Is there a lot of inventory? But I had heard just a rumor that's starting to really pick up again. So we'd really like your take on what's happening right now.
That's a great question. Condos have been a bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, we had to see, a change in pricing from where they were, back in 07, 08. So pricing having come down, it's made it very affordable, and they are selling now because of that. So for the most part, these developments, we've got a couple new ones coming up that are, under $200,000 to get in the inner city. That's amazing for Calgary.
Wow.
A few years ago that you couldn't, that's kind of obviously starting range, but these are new developments, so that are coming out with $185,000 starting price.
And you're downtown, basically.
That's right down there, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. So, the pricing has really kept buyers in the market, and obviously interest rates, as well. They're stimulating buyers, positive.
Okay. Now, Claudia, I have, not to cut you off, but I have one quick question that I want to get in because we're running short on time. And then Mike has a question. But so, Claudia, you would say it's a very good time then, and we know there were a lot of millionaires created almost overnight in Calgary that bought real estate, prior to the last, let's say, mini boom. And I know we're predicting 2013-14 here in Alberta that's going to be amazing again. So it sounds like you're telling me it's a great time, and people should call you to invest in Calgary again. Absolutely.
Don't wait till the prices are back up, because people are oftentimes in that position, and then it's too late. Once that it makes that small shift in the market,
Calgary goes crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it goes so fast. It's like it feels like it's a matter of hours.
Okay.
Okay. One last question for you, Claudia. Your use of social media in your marketing efforts, are you knee deep in it? Or have you been using this the web and social media in terms of marketing real estate in Calgary?
I have my own style, I guess, of marketing, and yes, I do use social media, the web, and all those things that are fantastic for getting your name out there. I like to be real, and many people have asked me over the course of my business, Claudia, how did you become a success so fast? Because right from the beginning, I did very well with my career, and
sounds like someone else I know.
Exactly, yes. For me, it was always, it's about the customer, obviously, first, but being honest with them, being real with them. And that's even more important at this time right now with, the economy shaky in the States. You can't afford to put your house on the market, over what it should be. So, they need to have honest feedback from a realtor. And
Isn't it funny, Claudia, how, the truth wins every time, and I think, Claudia, one of the main reasons, you've been a great a colleague of ours in Calgary, and you've done a great job with our organization in Calgary. But one of the main reasons I wanted to have you on the show today is because you are somebody that can be trusted. You are somebody that tells the truth the first time, and the one thing I can tell our viewers about Claudia, she tells it the way it is. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, you're going to have somebody that, number one, really, really cares and goes the extra mile, but somebody who will tell you the truth and steer you in the right direction. And Claudia, we want to thank you so much for having you on the show and giving us some great insight on the Calgary market. And that we'll be sending you all of our referrals, so keep up the great work.
Claudia Walz has been our guest, RE/MAX Realtor and Calgary real estate expert. Thank you, Claudia, for joining us. Thanks once again, Terry. You've been watching Inside Real Estate on Terry Paranych TV. I'm your host, Michael Kryton.